Okay. So I'm recording this, and I will include this. I will send this to you. I will put it on my personal Clo web YouTube, and then send you a link to it, so it'll be the same information. So this is just a knit texture file that I got off the internet, and I just put it together to make sure that it was in repeat both left to right and top to bottom. Okay? It is just a JPEG. It is not anything out of the ordinary. As you can see, it is normal size, 3.5 by about 4, 72 pixels per inch. Okay, this file is going to be our main texture file. Okay, to create the normal map, all you do is you click on the filter menu and go to 3D and choose Generate Normal Map. This window, it changes visually here, and this window opens up to show you what this is going to do on a three-dimensional object. And you could change this if you want to be something that's got a flat reference or got a flat surface. Now, the only thing that I pay attention to are these contrast details. I like to make sure that the low is very low, that the medium is in the center, it doesn't have to be exact. Ooh, I made it exact. And that the high is towards the top. And then I click OK. And that's it. That's how you make a normal map. Okay? It's best done with a grayscale image. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this as a new file. And I'm going to just save over this one here that's already there. And I'm going to name it at the end. I'm going to have it say NORM for normal map. And click Save. It is just a JPEG again, like the other file. Okay? It's good to have this image. I like to have this image as a grayscale image so that I can put color in it in Clo. Okay? So we have the regular file, we have the normal map file, and then we need the displacement map file. And the displacement map file is also a grayscale image, but what you have is it has more contrast. So I like to go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and work with the levels here. And this is similar to the levels in the normal map, so that there is a high contrast of light and dark and good middle tones. Okay? I don't like to wash out any of the white tones if possible. Okay? But I like there to be a lot of contrast. Okay? Okay? So something like that. And there's not one answer to this. It's based on whatever you're using. Okay? These settings are not universal. I'm then going to click OK. And I am going to save as. And I'm going to call this one Knit Texture Displacement Map. DISP. Okay? And click Save. Okay? That's it. Okay? And you can see the displacement map and the difference in terms of contrast. Okay? And that's all. Okay? So then now when I go back to Clo, and I go in my knit folder here, here's my fabric one. Okay? I'm going to go down to my preset here, and I'm going to choose Knit Terry. Okay? It's got a little bit of bulkiness to it. Okay? Under my physical properties, I'm going to go back to my 2D window here. In my fabric here, I can change the thickness if I want to make it chunky. I can also change the thickness here in my simulation properties for the additional thickness rendering. Okay, so as you can see, my fabric has a chunkiness to it that I like. Okay, I'm going to turn off my internal lines. Okay, so then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take these textures. I'm going to take the texture and put it there. Then I'm going to take the normal map and put it where it goes in the normal map. And then I'm going to take the displacement map and put that there as well. And I'm going to give the displacement map an amount of, let's say, 3. Okay? So then now when I go to render and I refresh this render, you can see that I now have a sweater texture that is much more realistic in terms of its body. It has the two textures. Normal map gives you the illusion of the surface of your fabric being modified. The displacement map actually adds topology to the three-dimensionality of the fabric. Okay, so really only a displacement map should be used on something where you are trying to make it look like it has a lot of thickness to it. The best example is Tiffany's previous example with the embroidery. It really looked like it was sitting off the bag. I could even go here if I want and use this texture. There is what's called a desaturation mode that lightens up this texture a little bit so that it's not as intrusive. And then I could change the color here to something a little bit more interesting. Click OK. Okay, so then just like that, now I have a knit cap with a fur poof, and you know I could change the scale of this if I want to, just like a normal texture. As Tiffany said, now that I've got all the pieces, all the different layers together, I could scale it, and this will all scale together. And I could call this chunky knit and save this out to be, I could save this out, chunky knit, texture image only, lesson files, save. And so now there's a chunky knit that I can use in the lesson files that is here, chunky knit. Okay, so there we went from just having a flat pattern. We gave it a texture is referring to the weave or knit pattern, and the normal map and displacement map add depth and dimension. Perfectly said, Molly. Again, normal maps can be used for fabrics like anything that all the fabrics in our library, those are all only have normal maps unless there's something like fur. Okay, as far as I know, I don't think any of these have a displacement map. Basically, they're very close in terms of their properties and their qualities. Normal maps, displacement maps will slow down the process in the computer more because you're actually adding topography. Normal maps just give you the illusion of topography that has been modified. So if it's possible to do what you need to do without a displacement map, then that's what you should do.